Sup, how is it going? Are you ready for another adventure? I hope so, because what I've got for you today is, in my opinion at least, the best when it comes down to visuals area in the game, as it's so saturated with colors that it feels like a different game altogether.
Stop!
I have completely misjudged the approximate location of the dungeon I was searching for, but I have figured it out sooner or later. Moonraven assisted me with this one as per usual. But anyways, as I was here and I have seen this giant camp, if I may call it this way, I have decided to just walk in and have a casual jog through to see if there are any points of interest. Name of this place is the Den, and it has a massive sort of arena in the middle, but one more interesting part about this location is that there are were-hyenas in here, you know, just like werewolves. And there was a mini-boss in the center just waiting for us to challenge it. This one bears name of a rake, and it has a chance to drop legendary two-handed mace called Doom, bestial claws, and the best in terms of harvesting power, cleaver in the game. This one being named Maw of the Hyena, so it is always a good idea to defeat it if you are around to see if you can get lucky and obtain especially this cleaver, since this is a rare drop. I have also found this guy right here, his name being Claw of Jhebbal Sag. He is, or he was, a tier 4 fighter, but as I was roaming with two of the best, I didn't feel like I need to get this one back to our HQ. As I was roaming around the camp searching for potential goodies to be taken away, well, Zamorian thief clothing kind of gives you an obligation to do so, I have heard a very familiar noise of ghosts that could teach us something, and in this case they did indeed teach us the belly dance. Then I just decided that this is not really for me and I am really willing to see what the next dungeon has to offer, so I have escaped from the den through ruins of Old Nebtu, which led pretty much directly towards my desired destination. And here is the unusual NPC as mentioned in the comments section under the last video, so let's hear him out.
Come to me. You have nothing to fear of. Is my appearance repellent to you, human? Your kind find no kinship in the unnatural. My brother Impisi summoned me from the misty lands. We are bound by flesh, blood, and our kinship with Jhebbal Sag. But Impisi asked of me power that could not be given. He took my silence for disobedience, and drove me forth from his camp in a wrath. I simply wish to return to my realm, but Impisi will not allow it because he thinks I am withholding information. If I could simply kill Impisi to secure passage to my realm, I would do it. But the incantations that he spoke bind us as one, tied together by invisible threads. His thoughts are my thoughts. If he is struck, I am bruised. If I am cut, he bleeds. There must be a severing of ties if I am to find my way back. Do you know of Jhebbal Sag, human? Once all living things worshipped him. When men and animals spoke the same tongue, he would walk among them in any form that he chose. He would mate with females of all races, and from those unions would birth half-divine children such as I, such as Impisi. Most men have forgotten the tongue that they shared with the animals. Only some few animals remember. Would you learn to speak with the animals, human? The realm that I come from is volatile, a world of shifting energies and elemental forces. By contrast, I find your world to be tranquil. But I suspect that my nature makes me more sensitive to the undercurrents that run beneath this strange land. Take this grove, for instance. These trees were once something else, not human, nor any other creature that I have encountered in this place. And they are screaming. Endlessly screaming. Have you seen my brother in PC? He is more animal than man, lost in the mad-scented lust of the hunt. When he summoned me, he sought the power to become a beast for a period. When I refused him and was outcast, he turned to darker powers. I fear that a bat has flown over the mountains of the dead, bearing his request to the four brothers of the night. What the gods of darkness have replied, I do not know. But strange beasts stalk the night now, and once I saw the shadow of the children of Jhebbal passing over this place and into the mountains. I fear what he has unleashed.
Right, so we need to get 5 pieces of feral flesh to craft whatever concoction he's trying to give me. Okay, now that we are back with the feral flesh he requires to craft the potion, let's go ahead and make it so we could see what are the effects of that vile liquid. Potion of Midnight. Well, that doesn't sound like anything that it was made out of, so maybe it won't be that bad. What is bad though, is the remaining time we have to use this potion. So, if you don't make it a quick choice of doing so, you might need to go and obtain few more bits of feral flesh to craft another batch. So, here we go. Damn, this looks absolutely stunning. Hands down the best place I have seen so far here in Conan Exiles. The bar is set very high with this one, so I am wondering if there is anything that will top this. Apparently, it is quite easy to get lost in here, so let's try not to do so. We are going to start this quest with few hyenas that had to be dealt with. Moving forward, on the crossroads I have decided to turn right, where wall displayed a pictogram of the boar, so let's see if this is what we are going to encounter in here. And yes, it did foreshadow our enemies in this area. Considering that the child of Jhebbal Sag mentioned beasts as in animals, and that Jhebbal Sag is a lord of the beasts, I guess majority of our foes in here will be of animalistic nature. I wanted to skip majority of repetitive fights, but I have to show you this place. It is truly amazing. Right, let's move on. Carrying on with our out-of-body experience after a potion of midnight, I have noticed a pictogram containing wolf. This is a sign that our next foe will be none other than a domesticated canine's relative, Big Bad Wolf. This must have been the biggest and the longest part of this dungeon for me, as I have spent majority of my time in Midnight Grove at fighting the wild doggos. Next enemy that we had to face off was a Panther. This one was the first of few bosses that we can and will encounter on our journey through this place. First of all, we had to cross this door, and it was a one-way door. You can go in, but you can't go out unless you have defeated the main body in here. So, Moonraven and Sen have swarmed the big puss, and they were doing quite well against it. I can't say otherwise. Raven also decided to throw curses at the kitty, so you know they mean business. And once the cat was defeated, one-way door has disappeared and allowed us to continue progressing through this dungeon. Once I got out of the arena, I have defeated few hyenas and have been presented with a choice of 3 ways. For whatever reason, I have felt like going after humans was the best choice for the time being. We should still expect some animals to be present in here, but majority of our adversaries would be of bipedal nature. And just like I have mentioned a second ago, there are still some animals around, but I didn't expect to be ambushed by 3 panthers at the same time. Regardless, ambush or not, we still had a job to do, so we cannot be stopped by mere oversized cats. Next on our way was Sign of Ursa, meaning we'll be facing off the honey enjoyers. And I am not sure if that's how sturdy they usually are, but these ones felt extra tanky, so it took a while to bring them down. In here you can see me being lured to check what is going on by multiple sparks in the air. So, I have discovered a cave full of glowing goop. If you would need some, that is a great place to obtain respectable amounts. Just have a look. Okay, now that we have been fighting lesser enemies while making progress within this cave, it is the time to meet our second boss to clash with. This time, we have a Silverback Gorilla. This one feels a little bit bigger though, so cautiously moving around I have waited for Moonraven and Sen to join, and they did. We had to use the same method, e.g. get rid of the main foe in order to open the door. We kept discovering progressively stronger enemies, and as you can see right now, we had to deal with saber-tooths, as if whatever we fought until now wasn't dangerous enough. Look at this. Prehistoric animals with probably a peanut-sized brain driven by instinct have ambushed me the same way panthers did. However, these ones were a little bit more crafty, as they have managed to get some cover within a bush, so that I could only see and expect one to be actively engaged in a fight. Cool. Once peanut brains were defeated by my equally large and capable processing unit, e.g. brain as well, I had a bigger problem to deal with. As you can see right now, there was a Wham Taurus waiting for me and, well, I think that this would be a final boss in here. I have heard that Sen and Moonraven were fighting someone when I thought, wait a minute, aren't they on the same elevation as me? And of course they weren't. They were so eager to deal with the ball that they have teleported to it with a speed of light. Right, now the only thing left to do was to fight with the crazed cow, and I have noticed that they were doing quite well. The only problem was that I wasn't entirely sure of what sort of repercussions it would have to fight outside the ring, so I got these two crazies to fight within the ring. The battle was lengthy and wasn't anything special, however the ball kept kicking around and knocking all of us down, which kinda slowed the entire slaughter progress, but in the end we as a dream team have managed to get that done. So, we've got out of the arena and not thinking too much, we kept obliterating wolves in the nearby location. Then, we have moved on to slaying were-hyenas. And get this, wolves were first, followed by were-hyenas. What do you get by combining were and wolf? Yep, that is right, a werewolf. And this is something I have definitely not expected in here. Well, I should have by the stories of the child of Jhebbal Sag, but I literally never thought that I will see a werewolf in this game. I guess me thinking that the bull would be our last significant threat in here, I was totally wrong. One thing worth mentioning is that this creature was ridiculously fast both in its dodges and attacks, meaning it could be right of a challenge without a good squad, but hey, with these two not even a werewolf posed a threat. And once we dealt with it, I didn't expect this to happen. What you have just seen is the Jhebbal Sag itself talking to us. And here was me thinking we will have to fight this thing. Thank God we didn't have to. Anyway, gathering stuff from the fallen werewolf has given us the flesh of remembrance, and this thing is quite interesting as consuming it grants you the knowledge of Jhebbal Sag's religion, which on its own is obviously giving you an opportunity to build the Jhebbal Sag's altar and venerate this god. You can also make different sorts of lures to attract different beasts which may come in handy. Also, if you would be interested, there is a small description of what Jhebbal Sag is all about. Funny enough, it was all written as a description of the meat we have gathered from the werewolf we've just fought. Last thing to do in here was to evacuate ourselves back to the real world, and to do so we had to use this sort of a teleporter to get us out of the Midnight's Potion High. Anyways, on that note, I would like to finish today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, leave a like or dislike accordingly, drop a comment down below, or maybe subscribe, and if so, I shall see you in the next one. Deynon, out.